I got a car with over 1,000 horsepower and I'm driving on a road I don't think I've ever driven on in a video. Which means we're gonna have a crash at well over 150 miles per hour. Want to see it? Then you better watch this video. Hey, this is WhyBeAre with BeamNG.drive, and today we're going to be taking a look at a mod for the Charrier FCV. And what this does is it adds a few more turbos to the vehicle. So we have a few different options. We're going to start with the triple turbo Vivace S. So on this one we have only a 3-cylinder engine, but we have 3 turbos. And they're all just sticking out of the hood, and you can even see them moving. That's how you know those are legit turbos. Those aren't for a joke. Those things give you real power. And when you drive this thing, you'll notice slow, 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 spool in, boost. Like the way this thing accelerates is so ridiculous. Just nothing, nothing, go. Nothing, nothing, go. See, we're in boost now. We're moving. Oh, by the way, it's front-wheel drive, and it can't quite put down all that power. But once it can get moving, it don't stop. That's 140 miles per hour we're going, smashing straight into a wall, causing massive amounts of damage. I want to see, though, what's the 0 to 60 time on this thing when you're at a dead stop and you just floor it without revving up the engine to make it accelerate any better. So here we are, perfectly lined up with this beautiful straightaway. 3, 2, 1, go. 1,000. 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000, 5 1,000, 6 1,000, 7 1,000, like 7 seconds from 0 to 60. And then 60 to 100, that's like 3 seconds. It's so ridiculous. And here we go, once again, going at very high speeds. This time I want to go for a little bit of a flight though. So we'll go a little bit to the side, and there we are, flying into the trees. And once again, causing massive damage. There's really not much we need to look at here because it's all just normal Vivace damage, except for the turbos, which are still visible, but they're no longer spinning because they've been destroyed. That's a nice little touch. They actually stop spinning when you completely destroy the engine. I wonder then, do they spin at different speeds depending on how much they're spooled up? So like if we look right now, that's how fast they spin at 8 times slow-mo, okay? It looks pretty reasonable. And now we got to spool them up, and I want to do it in a realistic way. So we're just going to do normal driving and wait until it seems like it's consistently hitting 80 PSI boost, and we'll take a look at them. So here we go. We got a nice straightaway here, up to speed, and we got 8 times slow-mo. We're probably going to crash, but looking at the turbos, oh yes, they are spinning much faster. The speed that the turbos spin actually matches the engine. Now this could just be a BeamNG thing. The thing is, I've never actually had a car where you can so easily see the turbos to see, do they spool up? For example, if we were to go and get the hill climb version of the SCV, which is the most turbocharged version there is that comes with the game, and we try to find the turbo, it's not exactly easy. The first thing you got to do is actually locate where the turbo is. Is it like a rear mounted turbo? And in this situation, it's a pretty ordinary location. But if you actually look at the engine and try to look at the turbo, it's so hard to see in there. There's no way you would know normally if it actually spools up. And then even if you get down here to the turbo, it has stuff on both sides, so you can't just see the interior anyways, so it doesn't have any spinning parts. So what I'm getting at here is I'm assuming the actual spooling of the turbo visually is part of the mod. And one thing that's also fun is listening to them spool. So just have a listen right quick. It literally sounds like a jet plane, or maybe kind of what the car sounded like in Gran Turismo 4, a vacuum? A little bit of a mix of the two. Strange mix, I know. Unfortunately, when your camera's behind the car, you do not hear the magnificent spooling turbos. All you hear is the backfiring and the screeching of the tires because you got no traction. Well, also, it is easy to damage the induction system with all these bushes and stuff. So like, for example, yep, there we go, induction system damage. So unfortunately, we're not going to be driving at full boost anymore. I think we're going to only get up to like 80 PSI still. Maybe I destroyed one of the turbos, but it's like, don't worry, I got 2 left. They're going to pick up the slack and we're going to be fine because we're still moving. Oh, look at this. You thought wall riding didn't work in a simulation game. Well, that's where you were wrong. It worked magnificently there. Although I have lost most of my speed. Ooh, off-roading chance. Let's go. Oh, this is going to crash, isn't it? Yep. That is a real crash. And this engine ain't quitting yet. It still wants to spool, but I think it's time to move on to the next vehicle. We're going to go ahead and come to a stop. Turbo's looking good. Rest of the car, it's a bit beat up, but it'll be all right. So now we're going to take a look at the next configuration. And this one is the Innocence Custom Tograc Stage 2. And with this one, we have the 4-cylinder diesel engine. Thankfully, it still has 1 turbocharger per cylinder. So yeah, now we have 4 turbos sticking out of the hood, looking absolutely magnificent. So on this one, we have about 850 foot-pounds of torque and 575 horsepower. Those are some pretty beefy stats, and thankfully, this one is all-wheel drive. It is not trying to put down almost 1,000 foot-pounds of torque just to the front wheels. And we got the Tograc so we could do light off-roading just like this, so we get stuck in a corner and then have to reverse, and reversing is so bad because it just doesn't have any boost forever as you're trying to go in reverse, so it just is so slow. Thankfully, we could try on nitrous, and that'll help us go faster. Not really in the initial startup, but it will eventually get us going faster. And we're going to try to get back onto the more regular roads off of the beach, because the Tograc is still great for Jungle Rock Island because the roads are so bumpy. The extra ground clearance will be highly appreciated, and I'm sure it really helped right there as we literally flew through the air a little bit. Although you will notice, even though this is a Tograc, it feels lower than a normal Tograc. Do a flip, land it, and drive. That is an absolute pro driver maneuver. Now, right now, we are driving on a damaged induction system from the earlier jump, though, so I don't think we're going to get full boost, which means we're only going to get like 50 PSI of boost. Oh, wait, even getting up to 60. That's still 20 less than what it should have, though. So it's time to do a reckoning. A little bit into the wall and then a lot of bit into the trees. Goodbye, Tograc. Ooh, it almost rolled back onto the road. It didn't, but it almost did. You know what's funny? After it crashes, the turbos look like a set of rally lights or something, but no, those are turbos who have unfortunately all stopped spinning. Saddest thing I've ever seen, and now it's the happiest thing I've ever seen because they're back, and now we're running at full boost with nitrous. This is maximum power output, and now you can see the true potential of a diesel Tograc. And just for reference, the engine output on this thing is like 3 times more than the normal diesel Tograc. It's stupidly powerful, all because of turbos. Which might make you wonder, how in the world is the engine able to handle that much power? Well, first you have the stock long block, then you have a stage up to the heavy duty, then you have the ultra heavy duty, then you have the one that comes with this mod, which is the stronger ultra heavy duty long block. An absolutely absurd name for an absurd engine block that's probably designed to race car standards. And by the way, if you're curious what it sounds like when you're accelerating with the 4 turbos instead of 3, here you go. I think they sound pretty much the same, but we had to do a test. Here we go. Here's the real 0 to 60 test. Come on, get up that hill. And by the way, I should also mention, it's not always going to accelerate that slow out of a dig. That's just because I'm not like pre-spooling the turbos. So for example, if you just like hold down every button on the back of the controller, so gas, brake, clutch, and parking brake, and then just accelerate it, it will launch. But you got to make sure you're actually in boost, because if you hold it too long, it drops out of boost. It's just so funny. So here you go, you go like this, you rev it up, 50 PSI boost, and it will launch, and it's off at speed so fast, I already got to slow down because I'm going to crash into a wall. More than fast enough, although I don't know why it didn't downshift. Come on, downshift, 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 car, okay, we're just going to get a new one then. The good news is we can do another real launch where we get the boost going, and then we are off at pretty decent speeds. We're actually already up to almost 80 miles per hour, but I gotta slow down because there's some tight corners coming up and I don't want to crash immediately after I accelerate like I did last time, because honestly, that was just embarrassing. I was trying so hard to accelerate, I wasn't paying attention to the corners that were in front of me. And you can see, this thing can go around the corners and stay in boost, but you almost want to slide it around the corners just so you can keep the boost up in the high range. Because it feels like if you decelerate normally around a corner, you might fall out of boost. And when you fall out of boost, it's like a slug. And then when it's in boost, it's a turbo snail. So let's go ahead and have a quick crash. We got some trees. Those look perfect to me, smashing right into them. Are my turbos okay? My precious turbos. They're fine. Well, they're not spinning, so they're as fine as they're going to be at least, though. Let's get back up to the road and take a look at the next version. And unfortunately, this one does not have the very big visible turbos. So this is the Innocence Custom Tograc Normal Edition. So yes, we were driving the Stage 2 before we drove the Stage 1, basically. But still, the Stage 1 is no joke. It only has like 100 horsepower less. It's still very fast, but it actually feels somewhat realistic in terms of how much boost it is. Like, this is actually a car somebody might try to drive on the streets, and it's kind of acceptable. The other one is you're just a complete lunatic who wanted to see what it looks like when you have turbos hanging out over your hood, and then you have way too much boost to make the car even drivable. And of course, doesn't matter which vehicle you're driving, you can easily crash it. And there's the damage. Again, nothing different than a normal Tograc, but it's fun to take a look at. And now we're going to be driving some more Vivaces. And I want to change maps for the Vivace because I want to go to a map where it can really excel. This was great for the Tograc because of the ground clearance, but without the extra ground clearance, West Coast USA is a better option. And we're going to do it right this time. We're going to start with Stage 1 and then go to Stage 2. It also helps that Stage 1 is ridiculously fast. So first off, the turbo on this thing, it's actually the same exact turbo that comes with the car. So if you type turbo into the search and just look at its location, that looks like a perfectly ordinary turbo, except when you actually go to drive it, it will spool up to like 60 PSI, which means we get like 750 foot-pounds of torque and 875 horsepower, which is like 200 horsepower more than the previous fastest version, which would have been the hill climb. So yeah, it might be the Stage 1, but it is stupid fast. And if you can't tell based on the engine sound, it is using the 5-cylinder engine option. So we're going over 200 miles per hour pretty easily. And you know what? Our exit is coming up, so I'm gonna slow down just a bit to make sure we make the corner and then don't stop until we crash, which is gonna be now. Wow, who would have guessed that those things are so strong? That is a ton of damage to the car. Oh man. So here's a thought though. If that's what Stage 1 looks like, what the heck does Stage 2 look like? Well, let me get it out. So once again, it has the 5-cylinder engine, and then if you look at the front, it has 4 turbos. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. This is the first time in my life I've ever said I'm disappointed that the car only has 4 turbos. Because the 3-cylinder had 3, the 4-cylinder had 4, so I was hoping the 5-cylinder would have 5. But instead, it just has 4. And one thing that's kind of funny is if you look closely, you can really see just how much the engine moves as we accelerate and brake. So look at this thing. It can jiggle around. I think it's because the extra height on the turbos just make it really obvious just how much the engine moves under normal driving situations. So here we go. We're going to do from a stop 0 to 60 test, no spooling. One thing you'll notice is it actually gets in the boost surprisingly fast. It's not like the other engines where you're just waiting on the boost. The boost is there and you're gone. Because this car makes over 1,000 foot-pounds of torque and the horsepower, it's HD. It's got 1080 HP. I say that because really when I first saw the information for the car, I'm like, why does it say the car is 1080p? Oh, it has 1,080 horsepower. You know, it just caught me off guard. I'm like, what the heck is a 1080p vehicle? That makes no sense. I don't know why, but that crash was so underwhelming. Like, I expected the car to kind of hit it and fly over it. It just crashed and just did a little, oop, I'm over it. I'm done. I am absolutely annihilated. Yeah, it didn't go that much faster than the last one, but it was such a perfectly head-on crash. It seems like it's a lot more damage, doesn't it? How are the turbos? Oh, my turbos are ruined. Oh well. I think what we really need to do now, though, is figure out how fast is this car actually? And the best way to do that is simply take it to the drag strip and see how fast can it do a quarter mile. We also can do the test, how fast can it get to the drag strip with me sliding out of control and just barely recovering it? The answer is surprisingly fast with me sliding out of control. Usually if I slide out of control, I'm going to crash. But in that situation, I just use raw power to overcome my inability to go around a corner. Who would have known that was even possible? And by the way, If I did that dumb thing where I put a random clip at the start of the video, I'd be like, I got a car with over 1,000 horsepower and I'm driving on a road I don't think I've ever driven on in a video. Which means we're gonna have a crash at well over 150 miles per hour. Want to see it? Then you better watch this video. Bam! Man, every crash you have with this car is gonna be a high-speed crash, it seems like, because we just annihilate the vehicle every single time. Alright, so we're gonna get a fresh version though, and then we're gonna do a little bit of drag race testing, because with over 1,000 horsepower, this thing should be pretty good at a drag race, right? So, let's find out. And we're gonna race against a normal AI car, and by normal I mean a drag version of the Blue Buck. That's normal to me, don't question me. And for the Vivace, the best way to probably launch it is gonna be the neutral to drive dump. So we're gonna get up to the line, a little more, gotta go to neutral, rev it up, and drive. I wasn't at full boost at the launch, I just didn't have enough time, but we still had a pretty fast launch, it looks like, and oh my. They were absolutely destroyed. We had a time of 8.342. That is a massive speed. We can even give the AI a faster drag car, but it ain't gonna matter. They ain't gonna compete with this. And here's the craziest thing of all, okay? This car here, this is just the stage 2. There is something faster. We have the Vivace Dragster. Same engine as before, but bigger turbos. This thing has 1,900 horsepower when you count the nitrous. And guess how much boost it makes? Go on, guess. Did you guess 100 PSI? Because that's how much boost it makes. It is ludicrous. I think I had a trap speed of like 200 miles per hour. 196.97 with a time of 7.204. That is stupid fast. And by the way, it's still accelerating. It got to 250 miles per hour since then. Well, now we're flying through the air and we're gonna crash into a tree or through the trees, whichever works for you. And at this point, the magnificent engine has basically fallen out of the vehicle. It's just barely holding on. So I'll reset it and I want to do one more drag race. But on this one, I want to race the exact same car and see just how slow the AI can go. Maybe they'll do better because it seems like the AI is a lot faster when they're driving an all-wheel drive car compared to a rear-wheel drive car. And I think it's just because it's easier for them to launch it. And that was not a great launch, but it was okay. And oh, come on, AI, what are you doing? What the heck? They're just straight up slow. Weird. And also the brakes on this thing are not very good. They're just screeching. What is their time? 14.602 at 98 miles per hour. Did you just like blow your engine or something halfway through the race? That was garbage. All right. Anyways, we are now done with that. And there are a couple of more fun things we can do. For example, why don't we see how far it can go at Car Jump Arena? Because I bet 1,900 horsepower will get you to fly pretty dang far. I just got to be very careful at the start to not accelerate too hard, taking it nice and easy, turn on the nitrous, and then floor it. And what kind of speeds are we going to get? Oh, we're going to get a lot of speed. It's already over 230 miles per hour, 240 at the end. And oh no, it dips down so hard it doesn't actually fly. How unfortunate is that? It could have flown so far, but it didn't. Although, if you wanted to fly farther, I bet there is a small adjustment we could make. The first thing we need to do is reduce the downforce on the front of the vehicle. The easiest way to do that, we just completely remove the front bumper. And then we need to increase the downforce on the rear as well, and the easiest way to do that is put a big fat wing on it. And then now you look at the front, there's nothing to hold that thing down, so it should just pop right into the air basically. And I bet we're gonna fly a lot farther. And I probably have to do this first jump even slower. There we go, and full speed. I love the acceleration at 100 PSI boost. It's just ridiculous. All right, here we go. Similar speed to last time, 240 miles per hour. Look at the way it goes up. It wants to fly now. Oh, that is beautiful. Now, if you're wondering why in the world I came to Car Jump Arena to do that, it's so that way I knew the best configuration to use at Leap of Death. And just for convenience sake, let's go ahead and save this one as the dragster of Leap of Death that will fly the farthest, probably I didn't really test it that much, so I'm not sure. Perfect name. It's very descriptive of what the vehicle is. Anyways, where is Leap of Death? There you are. And now ideally I'll do the perfect dive, landing just in the water without touching any other parts of Leap of Death. Although I gotta make sure I do a proper launch with this thing. Okay. Resetting the car does not work. The home button does. What, is the name just too long? That is weird. So nitrous is on. We're in manual mode so we can really get that launch going. And this should be the perfect launch. We're revved up, full boost, and go. A little bit of airtime, that's fine. I don't think the induction system's actually that badly damaged, and we hit that jump at like 100 miles per hour. We got some real serious air on it, and my only thing I can do is now cross my fingers and see. Will it make it all the way to the water? It's not quite gonna do what it looks like, but it's gonna be close. Oh, come on, just fly a little more. Oh no, it's diving sideways. That has ruined its chances, but I feel like we should give it one more chance because it was so close. Maybe just a small adjustment with how I drive. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just floor it the whole way, and then I won't get the airtime at the lip, and hopefully that'll get me just a bit more speed. So like right here, you see it's much smoother, and we're gonna keep flooring it, and then also maybe go a little bit to the right side because that might get us just a touch closer to the water. And it looks like we're flying relatively straight, like it's wobbling all over the place because it's weird aerodynamics without the front bumper there, but it's doing its best. And it looks like the last attempt was about as good as it's gonna get because that one was not much different. So anyways, that's gonna do it for this video. Until next time, this has been WhyBeAre, and remember, if you like or dislike this video, I will know. I can tell by how many turbos are sticking out of the engine. So do the right thing, and I'll see you next time. Man, it's so close too. It just barely doesn't make it.